What's up, all you filthy animals? Jeremy here with Full of Sit, and I just wanted to go over something that will help solve probably 90% of the issues that we see with people and their dogs. Okay, so those three things are crate, train, and supervise your dog. All right, they go hand in hand. You have to kind of do all three. The first thing is crate. When we say crate our dog, we mean, keep the dog in a crate. There's some things that we have to keep in mind. So we have to have a crate that's the proper size. Your dog should have enough room to go in, turn around, lay down, stand up, all that good stuff. But you don't want it so big that the dog feels like they have enough freedom to want to play in their crate or to potty in one end of their crate and then lay at the other end. So we don't want to encourage any bad habits in crate training. We use a crate to contain our dog when we can't keep an eye on them, and we want to make sure that we're not setting them up to fail. All right, so we want to keep them contained, and that gives us peace of mind. I now know that my dog is not running loose, chewing up my furniture, chewing on electrical cords, chasing cats, and all that good stuff, right? Because they are secured in their crate. The second thing is train your dog. All right, so we don't want to leave the dog in the crate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? That's not healthy for them, and it doesn't provide enough mental stimulation for them. So obviously, we want to get our dogs out and train them. So when we're training our dogs, training is used to teach our dogs what we expect them to do and some things that we don't want them to do, right? We can also use training to help manage our dogs throughout the day. So until our dogs kind of learn the rules of the house, we can use training to kind of control our dogs, right? So if I put my dog in a sit, or if I put my dog in a down, or if I tell my dog to come back to me, maybe they've wandered off into a different room or something, we can use that training to help manage our dogs. Training also provides mental stimulation for our dogs, which helps them develop good habits, and it helps keep them mentally tired, right? So everybody's heard that saying, a tired dog is a good dog, but that's not necessarily completely true. A physically tired dog is a good dog for a few minutes until they've rested, and then they're back up and ready to go again. So we like to provide mental stimulation for the dogs also, exercise their mind, exercise their brain, and that also helps keep them nice and calm and mentally tired. The last thing is supervise your dogs. And when we say supervise your dogs, we mean eyes on the dog, and you should know exactly where your dog is at and exactly what your dog is doing at all times, all right? One of the most common ways that we do that is with a leash. I always tell people a leash is going to be your best friend when you first get your dog, right? So leashes aren't just for taking your dogs out on a walk. They can be used absolutely in the house, and you put your dog on one end of the leash and you hang on to the other end of the leash, and now your dog is never more than like 6 feet away from you, and you can supervise them. You know exactly what your dog is doing. Some other things that we use are like exercise pins and stuff like that. So if you want to give your puppy a little bit more freedom than being confined to a crate, you can put them in an exercise pin. You can set an exercise pin up, put your dog in there, put your puppy in there. Now they have a little bit more freedom than being confined in the crate, and they also feel like they're kind of included in your day-to-day activities. Makes them feel like they're actually hanging out with you, okay? Now, when we can't supervise our dog, so if we get really, really busy and I just cannot keep my dog on a leash and tethered to me, maybe I'm tending to my kids, maybe I'm trying to cook dinner or whatever, right? That's when we crate our dog, all right? So if you're doing it right, your dog really shouldn't be spending an excessive amount of time in a crate. They should be in the crate when you can't supervise them, and out of the crate when you can supervise them, and definitely when you're training, right? So there you go. Use those three things: crate, train, supervise, and that will help you overcome probably 90% of any issues that may arise with your dog, right? So an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. If we teach our dogs to be well behaved and to be good good little citizens of our household, then that's what they learn. If we prevent them from learning a lot of bad habits, then we never have to come back and correct our dogs to stop those bad habits. All right, so keep that in mind. Create, train, supervise. Pretty time consuming in the beginning, but I promise you it's going to pay off in the long run. All right, go ahead, grab a leash, get your dog, and get to work, you filthy animals.